How's everybody doing today? This is Tom, the tour guide in the Old Burying Point Cemetery in Salem, Massachusetts. I'm a practicing witch. I've been a tour guide in Salem for a while now. I'm a bit of a history nerd. I find that at the end of the tours, when I say to everybody, if anybody has any questions, please ask. People aren't asking questions about the tour. They're not asking questions about the history. They're asking questions about witchcraft. They want to know what witchcraft is, and I find this is a pretty hot topic right now online. There's a lot of confusion, especially with a lot of kids. A lot of the times people think they have the right idea about something and they run with it, and sometimes things you just got to dig a little bit deeper. When people ask me what is witchcraft, or when they'll usually say, how are you a witch? They'll say, how is it that you practice witchcraft? What I tell them first and foremost is that witchcraft is a different thing to everybody. Everybody takes their own path, and that's the best thing about witchcraft. Every book that you read, and every book that I've ever read, I don't read any bad authors. They always say at the beginning of the book, you should never just trust one person's opinion. You should never just trust one book, including my own. Every good author is going to say that. Every good teacher that starts to teach you about witchcraft is going to tell you, first, learn about other religions around the world. Maybe read a book about comparative religion or something like that before you actually decide that you want to commit to witchcraft. What it means to me, the word witchcraft, it kind of can mean a lot of different things to different people. To me, it refers to, a different amalgamation of ancient pagan religions, and to different people can be different stuff. Some of the witches in Salem, they love the Egyptian deities. Other ones are all about the Celtic stuff. It's really what you're into that day. When it comes to me, I started learning about other religions before witchcraft. Buddhism, Hinduism. So when I started learning about witchcraft, I, like everybody else, thought it was just this weird, spooky thing. When I realized that it was ancient European, paganism, and, it was carrying on the traditions of my ancestors, nature-based religions, I had no idea. Like most people, it was really surprising to me. So a lot of the times when you first learn about that stuff, you get a chip on your shoulder. Suddenly you hear about the burning times. What? Millions of people were burned as witches? That's crazy. You hear it was the witch holocaust and all this stuff. And when it comes down to it, there's a lot of varying information on just that. A lot of people say that calling it the burning times is just a bad idea in general. Some people say it was like 60,000 people that burned. Other people say that it was like 7 million. Who are you supposed to believe, really, when it comes down to it? When somebody refers to Wicca, that's where the real controversy comes from. A lot of people think that every witch is a Wiccan, but that's just not the case. Wicca is just one take on ancient pagan religions. A lot of it's, said to be directly descended from ancient, Celtic traditions and ancient European traditions. But when you really look into it, these are just claims by the guys that were coming up with this stuff. And, sure, they did a lot of good and they helped spread witchcraft, but all in all, you can see there's a little bit of dishonesty with a lot of people in the beginnings of things. Anybody who really respects, like someone say like, Aleister Crowley is a perfect example. Anybody that really likes Aleister Crowley is going to tell you, yeah, he was an awesome guy. He said a lot of great stuff, but he was also a crazy drug addict, And when it comes down to it, you got to look at everything in a balanced manner. Wicca is the same. Wicca, in and of itself, is a fairly new religion. It's a new age take on these ancient pagan traditions. So when you say witchcraft, you're referring to a more broad idea. And not to say that I don't like the fluffy bunny stuff. I'm one of those tree-hugging witches. I believe in, karma and all of that stuff. People debate over these terms as if they're set in stone, but nothing's really set in stone. Even the word Wicca. Laurie Cabot recently got in some hot water on YouTube with one of her videos. Somebody's, some crazy kid with a southern accent posted some big thing because Laurie Cabot was talking about how, the word Wicca is a modern colloquialism that we've come to accept to describe witchcraft as a whole, particularly in the United States, with witchcraft being recognized as a religion. If we tried to get witchcraft recognized as a religion, it really probably wouldn't work because it's too general of a sense. Wicca is something that's more specific, more particular.